Uno momento. I'm gonna do cars on tonight on my main for my guild, and I think they're gonna do it. I did it on my alt the other. I did it on my alt yesterday or 2 days ago. And that being said, now that I'm saved, I'll do it on my main character, and it should go quicker. Hopefully, we did pretty quick though for a pickup group the other day. The fuck is this shit? Is this always here? It's gonna be tough to keep people alive, spam seed and all that shit, but it was like, it's a rough pull to pull all that shit, all that fucking shit respawning. That's a neutral. I need mana real quick though. We can skip on this. I don't like fucking skipping, dude. I really don't. That thing insta spawned like 4 extra ads. That was rough. This is more or less is how it should go, right? See how much this guy's like thunderclapping and shit? Why and all this stuff's not attacking me? The other day we were doing that shit with that druid. I think druids have better AoE threat than warriors do. I guess it just depends on how many people they're trying to tank or whatever. But we ended up getting through it. Schrodinger's Schrodinger's purple. Can you master spell that? Nope. Worth a try. Where'd you go, guy? Not a debuff. So that's a renew makes that noise? I thought that was a rejuve. I didn't realize Priest renew made that noise. Oh shit. Oh, that's no, that's for my healing trinket. That's right. Yeah, that doesn't normally happen there. I can't dispel it. Is there like a trick to it? You know, some mind controls break if you get them to a certain percentage or whatever. Gobble gobble, gobble gobble. One of us. Right. Come on now. Got mana drained on that one. It's like shitty luck, dude. One thing after another. I gotta start playing Diablo again, man. That looks like fun. The thing is, I don't know how balanced it all is. Every time I see something, there's like always somebody. The thing about WoW is that it was so balanced. Like the economy was balanced, the game was balanced. You know, like other than a few things like warlocks versus mages or whatever, it was always, you know, really super balanced. The economy always worked like it should have, you know. Hey, please don't, please just leave me right here. Yeah, this is like shitty. I don't ever remember this shit happening prior to this. Getting mind controlled and then just wiping because a healer or a tank gets mind controlled. It's not a totem like Sethik Hall or whatever. This is something different, I guess. Oh, cool. Where the fuck did that come from? Somebody put a plan for gloves inside the fucking rock there? That's kind of strange. Ugh. I've never seen that before, I don't think. Such a process. Yeah. I wish I had it to get some of that ore, dude. Everybody keeps talking about that ore. And the way, I guess I haven't really looked into it too much, but it kind of makes sense that if you think about like it's like the Bitcoin asset from what I can gather based on what other people said. Now I have no fucking what, but you know, like it's like the asset, you know what I mean, of the Solana chain apparently. You know, like to research. I need to research more about it, but it's hard to like want to sit there and like grind my fucking gears or whatever the fuck you call it. Put my nose to the grindstone, trying to figure out what it's about without being able to purchase any. So when the time's right, I will. Though it seems interesting, whatever it is. the fuck? I'm hoping that fucking I didn't really like playing Wrath of the Lich King. I really like Burning Crusade. It seems like it's going by so quick. We still have we're not even halfway through it all. You know, it's been like 8 months or whatever. It was January or whenever when it launched, right? But still, you know, like Burning Crusade was such a good expansion, and Wrath of the Lich King was kind of bleh compared to it. But Mist of Pandaria, that was awful. Pandaria or whatever. He casts possess, so someone needs to kick it or counterspell it. Normally I'm on my mage, I guess, and normally I counterspell it. That's probably why that doesn't seem to happen. Well, I've seen that go way. I've seen that go rougher than that before. That was good. Why the fuck is he still taking damage? Well, if it means not wiping, in reality, a mage and a fucking warrior should be able to shield bash the fucking thing, but we have a guy that doesn't use pets. Good. He really doesn't have a pet? Is that normal? Sit there and argue with a guy. I hate people that are like that. Like we shouldn't read it. Like I know we shouldn't, but we've wiped to it twice because we didn't have interrupts. So warlocks also have a pet. I know it's not. I guess one of them just doesn't even have a pet at all. So they're saying like I'm not saying it's necessary, but I'm like, well, I actually am kind of saying it's necessary. If you wipe to the same thing on two different occasions because you can't interrupt the fucking mind control. Now that we have it sorted out, though, yeah, I understand that it's probably not necessary, but to sit there and argue with the warlock, like, people not using pets, is that a thing? Is that normal? Are you challenging me to a death match? Like, I get it. Trust me, we shouldn't have to, but we've wiped to it on two different occasions now. I healed that guy, I was spamming heals, you know, but. I promise I'm not terrible at healing. What's the cooldown on the ribbon? 2 minutes? Thing's pretty awesome. Especially if you're like main tank healing, it gives them all that extra. I wish it didn't interrupt casting spells or whatever. Like, wait till it's done casting. That's the thing, like me saying, yeah, I know it's laughable. Yeah, you should have your Fell Hunter pet out. I'm like, maybe it's laughable for you, but the fact of the matter, no, like you do what you need to do to make the shit work, basically. I don't care. It's like a bruise to your ego, you know. I don't normally, you know, like whatever. Like if that's what it takes to get through this fucking thing, you know what I mean? Sit there and argue. I'm like, I know you don't normally do that, but apparently we need it, so either do it or the people that can interrupt, fucking interrupt. Which it looks like we've figured it out since then, but yep. Oh, that's the other guy. I'm like, didn't drop a badge? Is that even possible? Had to hack up video games to fuck me over? We got some North Koreans. Two badges now. We got 40. We need one more badge for the icon of the Silver Crescent, which that thing has to be best in slot for Shadow, along with the other thing, right? Haste for Shadow, but I don't think anything's better than haste, is it? Spell damage. All they do is Mind Flay and Mind Blast. All the other shit's instant attack, right? But a quicker Mind Flay, dude, that's like I think if you downrank Mind Flay, it does more damage. It regenerates more mana than it costs or something at some point in time. So for being a purely being a mana battery, right? That's one of those things. Like, yeah, you guess you can do a whole shitload of damage, but can you optimize playing a Shadow Priest to just be more MP5? But it's like strictly damage. So I guess it's a combination of being mana efficient. Like, how can you do the most damage with requiring the least amount of mana, basically? During hold, we just did Alkanine Crypts. Yeah, we never do that. Alkanine Crypts, 70 Priest, can heal. LF1 looking for moms. Looking for moms. Priest can heal or DPS. Oh, all slave pens, bro. I can DPS. Let's go get a shadow set. Like, I've got a two-piece. My gear is pretty terrible for shadow, but hit, crit 22. Yeah, I write like 25 damage, 6 MP5, 21. Let me go get my fucking thing. I got a couple shadow purples, bro. You know? Yeah. And then the whatever that thing is. I'm gonna go get the gloves, so I have a two-piece tier 4. Because right now my gear is good enough to do all of the phase 1 content, so like why waste time, you know, try and get a good baseline set for both of the specs or whatever. That way you can participate in all the reindeer games, you know. Keeper of the artifacts. Yes, gloves, gloves. We want 30, 30 damage, 24 crit. I guess, man. I don't know. Probably not the best choice, but whatever. Now we have two-piece. We can sell these gloves of oblivion. And I think we're like almost hit capped anyway, so if we need to, we can swap to the lantern. Now we're hit capped. I need to get that Shadow Priest helper add-on that. Yeah, me too. Should be more than enough. Spell damage and all that. God damn, dude, the Cardinals are fucking up the fucking up the Cubs, dude. Good. I don't even want them to be a baseball team by the end of it. That was one of those things I was watching. I never watched Ozark before. It's actually a really good show on Netflix. But they're like, the person on the show was saying something like, because the show takes place in Missouri, where I'm from, right? And everybody knows, if you're from Missouri, you know, and if you're not, then you probably don't know. Not everybody knows that the Cubs rivalry is such a big deal. So the person on the show mentioned something about it, like, "Oh, you're a Cardinals fan, right?" I'm like, on the TV show, I'm sitting there thinking like a person wouldn't say that and then not talk about right because the other person was from Chicago or whatever. So I guess someone on the show Ozark is either from Missouri or is a Cardinals fan or something, because everybody knows about the. It's one of those things like because they're not like the Mets and the Red Sox or whatever, the Yankees and the Red Sox or whatever. You know, like they're not trillion-dollar teams or whatever, so that people don't know about their rivalry. But no, if you're from either or though, you do for sure know about the goddamn how much the Cubs suck. Cubs suck, right? Of all the things. Hey guy, is that necessary? No, that guy's disconnected. Oh, great. Strange. Okay, we got Mecha Wave, Mike Grave. Are these guys related? This guy will appreciate me being Shadow. Yeah, that guy's got really good holy gear too. We shouldn't have any problems with it. Really? We shouldn't have any problems with this. Yep. Yeah. All best in slot. Priest, great. As he's got the essence of the martyr. So is that better? Obviously, I guess so. That's what that guy's wearing. But Soul Strider boots. Roots of the Incorrupt. Essence of the Martyr is good. I know it's good, but I don't know if it's that much better. It seems like just having a Ribbon of Sacrifice and an Essence of the Martyr. I don't like having two poppable trinkets. I like having one passive trinket and one poppable, you know, when I have to think about and when I don't have to think about. And I really figured I need to figure out and optimize my gear for Black Temple, you know what I mean? What my best in slot's going to be. But sucks though is that we're not doing TK tonight because everybody's not showing up because we're that close to the next phase or whatever. But okay, okay. If I had my, I need to fucking remember to download Shadow Priest Helper, 2 Warlocks. Yeah, they'll appreciate the debuff. Yeah, I'm not saying that they shouldn't, but I'm not saying that whatever. I don't know if they do or normally don't or whatever. Like, they sacrifice their pet. Do they get a thing or something? The point is though, is if you keep wiping to something that you have to counterspell and nobody seems to be doing this shit, then it's time to bite the bullet and summon a Fell Hunter and interrupt some things, I guess, right? Got a bazooka. Yeah, the guy's got a bazooka. He requires aid, guy. Anyone can help him, please? Anyone get a rusty soda can or something? I fucked that up, man. I could have kept that guy alive, but I shouldn't be having to do all that, really, is the thing. Shouldn't be a problem. But pulling the entire room is also, like, not advised. Kind of rough. Fucking stomach's growling. Oh. Step through the portal, please. For the love of God. Fucking throw a rope. Pull them through. Stand on your skateboard. I'm gonna throw you a rope and I'm gonna pull you into the instance, please. Sometime today, guys. Oh, there they all are. I guess they're waiting for the door to open. I guess this priest is a Yaya, maybe? He's got a Mexicanish. He's got kind of a Mexican sounding name. Calypsoca. Hear my stomach growling? God damn it. Oh, we popped the necklace. That's what my character is going to look like eventually. God damn it. Brought to the Sun King. This guy's got like a DPS. He's like in his tank gear. He's probably got a Fury set or arm set, more than likely. It's hard to get your guild to give you that shit if you're not like super good gear and all that. Fucking stomach's growling. God damn. I hate this room because, like, I always end up pulling extra shit here. Sucks. I might not get the opportunity to really parse on my mage. You know what I mean? With all my best in slot gear and shit. Like I got two upgrades, major upgrades too. Like not just like a few damage, like 15 damage and 30 or 40 or whatever. All in all, I think I ended up with like 50 more spell damage from the last two pieces of gear that I got, and 30 or 50 or something. And I haven't had a chance to be in a DPS group since then. Sucks. Could really use the badge, but it's a kind of a tough fight. Shit. Shit. It's 516. So I'd let you know. We have rated 8. We're gonna do a Karzan group. I need to figure out like my add-on that'll Shadow Ward Death, but like where my Mind Blast won't cast if my Mind Flay is channeling, right? So that way, like, I don't waste mana overriding spells and all that. If that's what people do. It just sucks, man. You search the shit online, there's like no definitive, like, there used to be elitist jerks, right? Like, way back in the day, and you would be, like, go to their guild forum and people would theory craft and all that stuff, and there's like, I search the answers on Google and then I get the wrong answer, you know what I mean? And there's no like website to go to for any of this shit that I'm aware of. There might be, but I've searched and tried to find it, to see if there's like, okay, well, what for sure? Because some of the shit I've seen online, like the first thing that pops up is often not correct. I'm just trying to figure out my rotation exactly. Like if I wanted to search what rotation do you use, it's not going to give you the correct answer. I think I've got it figured out, but I might have the wrong order. Like that wasn't correct, I don't think. Oh, great. Reduction of shadow damage. I thought someone else had done something. All that Shadow Priest healing is awesome on Vash, I'm pretty sure, and I'd never have a Shadow Priest on that fight. I hate it that it's that way, man. I know there are guilds that clear the shit with Shadow Priest on all the fights and have the same amount of healers. But the thing is, like, not that I'm necessarily discouraged, but it tells you, like, an overall reflection of how the guild might feel, like, if the raid leaders have gotten to the point where just because people are their friends, they're optimizing a group for their friends, not what actually gets us the best DPS, and you're like, well, if it's happening to me and I'm getting put in the fucking dunce group, then it stands to reason that there might be some other things if people are like not optimizing the raid for DPS and all that shit. So, thing is, mana per 5, I would think, hopefully, next phase I can. I said this before, but like I can't even get them to put me in the DPS group. How am I supposed to sit there and say, oh, well, can you give me an innervate now? Like, you can't even get them to put me in the DPS group. We have 3 druids, I believe. I don't know if we have any resto druids or not, but you would think, like, one of you can spare at least just one innervate. But some of the top end guilds, all they do is like arcane mages get the innervate. You know. I know we're not a parse guild or whatever, but still. I fucking hate this instance. They've got damn worms everywhere, dude. I fucking died to these things like 3 times the other day. Yeah, like I didn't rage quit. We wiped like 3 times, and I joined a guild or a group that had already started, right? And like picked up 2 more people after 2 other people quit, and then we got to the raid and like fucking just shit. The thing about original WoW, like in phase 2 especially, like not to say there was no people that like weren't as good as others or whatever, or shitty or whatever, but like you didn't like maintain a spot in like a good guild being retarded for like pre-nerf stuff, right? So like they would release a new boss fight or whatever, and you'd have a few months before the weeks or whatever, or however long, and they'd finally nerf it so the next, the guilds that weren't like top tier could get the boss kill and all that stuff. But like you didn't see guys running around like, oh, okay, back in my day, right? You didn't see guys running around in full tier 5 that didn't know what they were doing. Period. Even in guilds that weren't like the best ever, just you couldn't maintain a rating spot because you're wait like how many hours of time people wasted trying to. I mean, trust me, there were people that some were better than others, but you would just like rarely, never, unless someone bought their character, which didn't happen that often at the time, right? I'm not saying the guy doesn't know what he's doing. I'm using him as an example. That's all. He may or may not know. I don't fucking know. But I said he was a yaya earlier, so human centipede. Human centipeding. He was human centipeding. There's always some guy. I'll be the middle centipede. You're like, I figured. It's like the guy that volunteers to be the middle centipede, dude. Whatever. There's always one guy who volunteers, right? Calypsoca. You stupid bitch. Right. Every time I every time I hear these two argue, right? Need some real deal set bonuses. I'm not gonna waste time getting a whole bunch of enchants and shit until I get at least tier 5, because it's a real possibility I might be able to pick up like a shadow set. It's so expensive. This costs all my goddamn gold. I'm not necessarily in the mood to farm this shit right now. After farming all that stuff in my mage, I'm like, ugh, right? Can we get everything? Oh shit. Can I silence that? I was in the zone there. Not paying attention like I should have. She's immune to silence? Is she immune to the interrupt part, though? If I could... It's all a matter of just getting used to this shit. Like, if I could centralize, like, the shit I'm trying to actually look at instead of having to sit there and fucking with a fucking goddamn magnifying glass and my buttons there to see if I should be DPSing or whatever. But, I'll get used to it. But if I moved all that shit and I had it, like, here, then I could see what the fucking boss is doing. I could counterspell accordingly. But it's gonna take time and practice. Because I'm used to DPS where all you do is spam the same fucking button over and over. Over and over and over. I bet getting the icon is what I'm gonna do first. What that badge is. I'm gonna get the spell damage PvP trinket PvE whatever. It's got to be best in slot forever for a while. Shadow Priest because their best stat is damage. I'm pretty sure. What I need is that add-on that shows you what like your last like 5 spells casted were, so you get like a, you know what I mean. I'm gonna get the Shadow Priest helper add-on after this. You get like 10 things across the bottom of your screen that show you like your last 10 previously casted spells. And ideally, I guess it should always look the same, you know, unless you have to move around or something. But I've got like the first half of my rotation down, you know, and then it gets a bit dicey after because you're like I'm used to only fighting like one monster at a time, so like I only get time to do like one full kind of rotation. So I've got a feel for that now, but I have to like focus and all that shit on a boss fight where you're moving around and you kind of lose track trying to keep up with all the fucking okay dots, this, that. Oh. We should buy a boat, right? After a certain while. Speaking of which, not much for doing shit outside, to be honest. I like doing CrossFit outside. I'm not and running and stuff, but I'm not like get on a 4-wheeler and really I'm not much of a fan of doing shit like that. Really, I'm super looking forward to being able to buy some CrossFit stuff though. Putting it in my garage and then being able to cart it all outside in the summertime and get out in the heat and all that. Nothing is more fun than doing CrossFit in 100-degree weather. Anyway, I guess this guy does know what he's doing. Because he keeps dispelling me pretty quick. So I wasn't trying to talk shit, I was just saying, like, as an example, you would not see someone wearing fucking all tier 5 if they didn't know what they were doing. Now that's an option. People can buy spots in guilds, apparently mine, of all, and you can just get all the loot that I deserve and saunter off into the sunset, fucking playing on a Dance Dance Revolution pad and a fucking Nintendo Switch or whatever. God damn it. After this, I need to cook something to eat. dude. Shit. Fuck. God damn it. For fuck's sakes. It's a good belt, but I've got a fucking belt of blasting. Yeah, I don't know if you know this or not, but you might want to tell your friends I have a belt of blasting. It is a really good belt, though. I don't think there's anything from like whatchamacallit that. Anyway, that was alright, I guess. Had fun, guys.